And we are live. Hello and welcome to episode 42 of Captain's Pick, the FPL podcast. My name is Geoff and each week I'll be talking fantasy Premier League football. You can find this show on a whole host of podcast services. Just search Captain's Pick. Please remember to like, review, subscribe and share. Currently the podcast is live streaming as we speak here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/captainspickpod. If you want to come and join the live stream in the live chat, be very welcome to have you here. And but if you can't make it live, no worries. Obviously, you can listen to the podcast, or you can watch the live stream replay on YouTube. Just search again Captain's Pick podcast on YouTube. On today's show, I'll be looking back at game week 2 and giving a little bit of review of how my squad got on and the results in game week 2. Looking at some potential transfers and how my squad's shaping up for game week 4, and then a little preview of the game week 4 fixtures. So again, please do like, share and subscribe down there if you're watching the YouTube replay. That'd be very much appreciated. And let's just dive straight into it. As you can see on the screen there, all the links to all those podcasts, YouTube, Twitch, are all in the links in my bio on the Twitter page at Captain's Pick Pod. Please do get in touch via Twitter. If you're struggling to find the links for anything, do let me know. Okay, so let's have a little look then at game week 3. Let's try the first transition here. See if we have any problems. No, that's perfect. Okay, so as you can see on screen, I scored 46 points in game week 3. The average being 44, so just got above the average. A game week rank of 2.889 million, so not fantastic, of course. Always trying to get into between sort of the 500,000, 1 million point mark for game week ranks, but way below on there. Just gonna look through my team now, as you can see on screen. So nothing from Ryan, just 1 point from him. 5 at the back did clearly not work this game week. Alexander with the assist, so he got me 5 points. The only return from my defence, Robertson blanking, Dina blanking, Lundstrom with a 0, and my transfer in, one of my free transfers last game week, Wan-Bissaka getting a big fat 0 as well. So that was very disappointing. Cannot believe United lost that game to Palace, and I was really sure that there was going to be a clean sheet there, but that's FPL for you. The midfield is where I got basically all my points. So Salah came in with 15 points, excellent from him in that home game against Arsenal. Fancied him to do well, but could have stuck the armband on him, but there was no way that I was going to really thinking about anybody but Kane for the captaincy. Likewise with Sterling, returned in the goal with that 3-1 away win at Bournemouth, so he got me 8 points. And then my other free transfer, bringing in Mason Mount for Fraser. Luckily Fraser didn't do anything again, and Mount got a goal, so he got 8 points for me. He's got a yellow flag at the moment, hoping that was just a bit of an impact injury and nothing muscular. So fingers crossed that he starts for the weekend, but couldn't be happier with that transfer. Josh King I left inside. Did potentially look at taking a -4 hit to get in Pookie on Friday when I did my transfers, but all 3 of them in, I was 0.1 short. I didn't do early transfers, as I said on the podcast last week. Held my nerve just to wait and see if there was any last minute injuries. There wasn't, but obviously I missed out on quite a few price rises, and Fraser had a price fall as well. And that meant I couldn't get Pookie in. Obviously Julie delivered 11 points. Even if I took a 4-point hit, would have been still be up 7 points there. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. But now Pookie's out of range unless I do take a hit. More on that when we talk about transfers. But Josh King in at the moment, but his place is definitely under threat. And then Kane, the Shaw captain, was never really going to put it on Sterling or Salah. Newcastle looked dreadful last week, and he duly delivered 0 points return. Well, he got 4 points, but appearance points only, and just massively disappointed. If just an attack in return from him would have got me up to sort of 55, nearly 60 points. Again, trying to hit that 60-point average would have seen me a lot higher in the game week rank and in overall rank as well. Big time disappointed with him, and a lot of questions to be asked now. 5 at the back, or certainly big at the back, which you could class my team as having 3 of the big guns at the back, to be fair. It's not worked, but watching that Liverpool game, so unlucky. 85th, 86th minute, something like that, and concede a pretty sloppy goal. Looked great for a lot of points from them, but they look so good at looking at all the defenders, even classing them as midfielders. I'd still say they look just as good going forward as any other the midfielders in that price bracket. Just looked as good as them, so I'm holding strong on them for the moment, but it is starting to get a little bit nervy, I'll be honest. So just looking then, overall points 185, so it's not too bad for the first 3 game weeks, averaging about 61, so that's fine, in between that 60 and 65 point average that I'm aiming for each week. Overall rank of 395k, yep, fine, again, top 100k's a target. Any Liverpool keep a clean sheet and Kane delivers just a little bit of attack in return, and I'm shot up straight into the 100k there. Just to note, total plays at 6.5 million now, so it's a hell of a lot of players playing. And then just looking back then at the games from game week 2, Villa winning 2-0 against Everton. Yeah, disappointed from Everton's point of view here. Thought they might be able to keep a clean sheet. Not too much going forward at all, so I'll be very worried having attacking assets from Everton. Wesley got a goal, interesting target at 6 million. Villa's got pretty decent fixtures going forward, so he may be one for the watch list. McGinn getting an assist. He was on my watch list. I went Mount instead of McGinn, and I think Trossard was in there as well. McGinn getting that last minute assist, sure was very nice for his owners. And Gilbert, coming in, starting and getting a clean sheet. And if you watched the live stream or listened to the last pod live stream last week, I did say that I wonder if Gilbert could be the next Matt Doherty. Both dropped down to 4.4 early on in the season, and then Doherty for sure, or Doherty bringing lots of returns, and Gilbert in his first start comes and brings a clean sheet, and I believe he scored last night in the Carabao Cup as well, so very interesting to see how he gets on. Definitely on my watch list, because Villa have some decent fixtures and may get some clean sheets, but he may well return some attacking returns for sure. Chelsea 3-2, very happy with this result, obviously as a Chelsea fan. Tammy Abraham getting 2 goals, gone up 7.1 in the game, on the watch list. Not sure I want 2 Chelsea players, I'm not sure how consistent we're going to be this season, so very happy to have Mason Mount, and obviously got his goal. Of course, didn't have Pookie, and he duly delivered. Cantwell, who's 4.7, he got a goal as well. Pookie getting that goal and an assist, getting 2 bonus points. Mount getting 1 and Abraham getting 3. I think Abraham might be an option. I think he may be first choice now, but one to look at. Pookie, yeah, he's up to 7 million now in the game. Gonna have to do a couple of transfers to get him in, so probably not gonna get him in, though I can see him definitely scoring away to West Ham. Hoping he blanks and his value holds, so then I can do a few moves in the international brink to possibly bring him in. Southampton winning 2-0. Brighton went down to 10 men in that game. I think that's a very different result if they don't. So no clean sheet for Ryan there. Still not convinced about Southampton. Just to say, Brighton went down to 10 men and still had chances as well. So a watching brief on them. Trossard looked fairly decent in that game. So keeping him on the watch list also. Mentioned about that Palace Man United game, cannot believe that. Martial getting assist, but he's picked up an injury, and I'm not fully sure he's going to be fit for the weekend. Probably wait for more press conferences on that. Rashford missed a penalty as well, so unlucky. Just hits that inside of the post and just goes across the goal line. That's just really unlucky from him. And Wan-Bissaka getting the yellow card as well, so get that 0 points. I'm sure at Southampton next week, or this game week coming, game week 4, clean sheet is on the way. Fingers crossed, but I'm not sure. Leicester winning 2-1. Lundstram there, obviously he was always going to get a 0 after that 14-pointer. Had to start him. He's a 4 million defender playing like an attacking midfielder. It's just 3 points if he gets any. So I'll probably continue to start him. Vardy getting a goal. Soyuncu getting assist. That's a centre back. He's 4.5 million. Could well be an option going forward. And also Madison seems to have started the season really well as well. So he's one for my watch list. Interesting to see how both teams get on next week. West Ham beating Watford 3-1. Watford are in a lot of trouble, I think, this season. Haller getting a couple of goals, so I think he dropped down to 7.4. Could be an option, although I think at Pookie, well, could 0.4 cheaper is probably a potential better option than him, but could still be an option. I'm not sure if he's too expensive. Need to see a few more returns from him. But could well be an option going forward. Noble starting again and getting that penalty, so it looks like he is on penalties. Watford, stay away from them for the moment. 3-1 Liverpool. Salah getting 2 goals, fantastic from him. Alexander-Arnold with the assist was brilliant. Aubameyang just got the assist. And again, Arsenal dodgy at the back. Look semi-decent going forward. They're in the North London derby this game week, so it'll be interesting to see what they do in that. Liverpool looked excellent. All the defence looks excellent to them, and just Adrian in goals not helping, and just conceding sloppy goals at the end. When that clean sheet does come, it's going to mean big points, so I'm keeping the faith for the time being. And then to the Sunday games, City 3-1, they're just smashing it. They've continued as they finished last season. Guerrero with 2 goals. Jesus is injured at the moment, so if you're looking to replace Kane, if you do want to make that move, you're going to have to find $1 million. But Aguero at home to Brighton could, and probably, well, it's definitely going to start surely. Play most of the game, I would say. Looks a very good option for this game week. Sterling again with a goal. Harry Wilson with a great free kick. Him at 6 million, I think. Could be an option there if you just want one. Bournemouth are so attacking. If you just want one of their options, but you want a cheaper one, he could potentially be the one to have, I think. And Callum Wilson, another assist, but again, I think he's dropped to 7.9. It's just too expensive, I think, just to have someone assisting. That's 3 assists in a row. So it's not too bad, but I just think it's too much money for a forward just to be getting assists. Spurs Newcastle, not really. Well, I've sort of covered it already, to be honest. But yeah, just as soon as I saw Eriksen didn't start, that filled me a little bit of dread because Kane normally just then sits back in the pocket a little bit more. But even when Ericsson came on, still didn't really create too much. Going to keep Kane for the time being for this next match, probably. He does like the North London derby, but Newcastle, excellent defending. Thought it was probably a penalty. The VAR didn't overturn, but that's, bigger debate. I'm not going to get onto this podcast. Just go on Twitter and have that if you want. And then Wolves 1-1 with Burnley. Burnley getting that Wolves getting that last minute penalty. Jimenez getting the goal. Barnes, again, another goal for him on the Barnes train. Been nice to have been on him and Pookie, but unfortunately I was on Kane and King. Definitely an option going forward, Barnes. I think they've got Liverpool in the next game, but after that got quite a nice run of fixtures. Wolves, again, I'm pretty much avoiding. Just so tough at the start of the season with Europa League games that it's always going to be a little bit of a struggle. But doing well in Europa League. Jota's doing good in Europa League. So I think once they're in and qualified and the fixtures ease up a little bit, I think could be some decent options from Wolves there. So that was, I say, game week 3, and not fantastic, really, to be honest. But just needed that captaincy hit and that Liverpool clean sheet, and it would have made a world of difference. So, hey, we go again. So just looking at my team then for game week 4. Remember that game week 4 deadline is this coming Saturday, 31st of August at 11:30 in the morning. I'll remind you again at the end of the podcast. So currently, as the squad is set up, now as I mentioned earlier, I'm probably gonna roll my free transfer, unless I hear Mount is definitely out. That could well change. But I'm pretty happy with my setup to begin with, and I'm really wanting to have the 2-3 transfers to go into the international window with, just to cover any injuries. Then I've got options. I'll have options to bring in Pookie as well, because he just looks great, and even against my team Chelsea. I can say I just thought he was threatening. I thought, okay, Chelsea aren't great at the back, but every time that he was in and around goal with the ball, without the ball, I thought he looked dangerous. So he's definitely probably my number 1 target at the moment. And so yes, I'm probably going to roll the free transfer unless, I say, Mount is injured. So this is how I'll set up. Ryan in goal, away to Man City. Haven't got any other option to start him. Just hope he gets some points, saves. Possibly of maybe saving an Aguero penalty. Not having Aguero, I wouldn't mind that if I'm honest, but obviously can't see him getting anything from that. Then the Liverpool double up. TAA Robertson away at Burnley. Can't see Burnley scoring loads, even though, again, Liverpool just been a bit sloppy at the back. Barnes is in form, so there's always a chance of him getting a goal, but I fancy both of them to still get attacking returns, and I think this could be the week that they get the clean sheet, but don't rely on me. Luca Dean home to Wolves. I fancy clean sheet here and potentially attacking returns. I think Wolves could well be pretty fatigued from Europa League. Is that game is on Sunday, I think. Let's have a look. Yes, that would be Sunday. So, I fancy Everton to do well defensively. Can they sort out their attack? I'm not sure. Wolves pretty decent, even have been playing in the Europa League. So, could potentially be like a 0-0 draw there, which would bring in Dean for clean sheet points and bonus points potentially. So I'm starting Lundstrom. Yeah, Sheffield United away to Chelsea, but again, he's attacking midfielder. Chelsea haven't been that great at the back, so if Cantwell and Pookie can score, then there's a chance that John Lundstrom can. So, and I don't really fancy starting anyone else in front of him who are on my bench. So he, at the moment, gets a nod. And then Aaron Wan-Bissaka, my signing from last week, hopefully he returns the favour by getting clean sheet and bonus points away at Southampton. Again, Southampton not great attacking. I know they did win 2-0 at Brighton, but that was against 10 men. So expecting big things from Wan-Bissaka for sure. My three excellent midfielders from game week 3: Salah, Burnley away. It could be the whole thing with Salah and Mane, that each week one returns and the other doesn't. Could well be this happen this case this week. Could be Mane returning against Burnley, not Salah. But I think you probably not going to have both, and so you just got to pick one and stick with them. You get the extra million with Mane, but I'm sticking with Salah. He's on penalties as well. And some corners as well that I've noticed. So I'm sticking with Salah for sure. Vice captaincy on him. At the moment, currently only one captaincy choice in my mind. Sterling, home to Brighton. Man City could be a cricket score this match, potentially. Especially if De Bruyne, Sterling, Aguero all start. Could be a lot of goals in this game. The only thing that worries me is that he's scored in the first 3 game weeks, or got attacking returns in the first 3 game weeks, and can he do it 4 game weeks in a row? Hopefully, because the captain's armband are probably going to be on him. So I've had 2 captaincy blanks in a row now, so 1 out of the 3. So really need to be hitting that captaincy. And again, starting Mason Mount, home to Sheffield United. I think there could be goals in this for Chelsea for sure. But hopefully Mount starts. If there is any injury news there that comes through last minute, could be a replacement. But if it's just he's going to be out for maybe 1 game, I'll probably just have to rely on my bench, someone to come off there to cover it. It'd be a shame, but I just don't really want to use my free transfer. And then up front, Harry Kane away to Arsenal. Been decent in the North London derby over the years. It'd be typical Kane not to produce anything at home to a weak Newcastle team and then go and score 2 or 3 against Arsenal away. If he doesn't deliver in that game, then the international break is a big time for me to play a mini wildcard, so I could use my 2 free transfers and another 1 or maybe 2 transfers at the top of that, or I just wildcard, because there's a lot of money wrapped up in Kane, and it's the kind of decision that may trigger a wildcard. We'll have to see on that. Hopefully he returns. And then starting Josh King away to Leicester. Been fairly okay at the back, but they have been conceding. Not loads, but he could well get a return there. You never know with Bournemouth when or who they're going to turn up against. So happy to keep him at the moment. Not happy that his price is dropping. He's down to 6.4 at the moment, so that's annoying. But 1 or 2 goals, and that could easily go back up again. So that's my starting lineup to begin with, unless there are any last minute injuries. Wickham, Aston Villa at home, first on my bench. He didn't start last game week, so I'm not sure he's going to come on again. He's just a 4.5 fodder at the moment, and could well be switching that to Greenwood maybe on a wild card. I think Greenwood might get a few more minutes than Wickham. It was always going to be a 50-50 toss up there. And then Hayden, Newcastle, Watford at home, probably go and lose that, having just beaten Spurs away, and then Dendoncker, third on my bench. Wolves again at that Everton away match. The subs may change order, but I'm not too sure that's going to make too much difference. I only missed out on maybe like 2 points by having the correct bench person on first spot last game week, so I don't think it's going to make too much difference. I think my 11 will probably all start, Mount just being the only doubtful one. So that's how my squad's shaping up. Say transfers, fingers crossed Mount is fit, and then I will be rolling the free transfer into the international break to potentially use a mini wildcard. People who are under threat in that mini wildcard would be King, and Kane for sure. Pretty happy with the rest of my squad. It depends if Liverpool concede again. I'm not sure I could get rid of them with their next game after that, home to Newcastle. If I'm honest, I'll just have to ride that out. Probably means why I wouldn't do a wild card, but we'll have to see. Wan-Bissaka, I'd like to give him a good sort of 4 or 5 matches. Don't like to bring in a player just for like 1 or 2 games. Just don't think it's long enough for them to return. But if they had a heavy defeat, he could well go on a wild card and release some funds. And potentially bringing in a City defender. Be nice to have some coverage then. If you've been listening to the pod pre-season and then at the start of the season, my prediction was that City would concede in every game in the first 3 game weeks, and I wasn't far off. They had a clean sheet in the first game against West Ham, but then conceded against Spurs and conceded against Brighton. No, sorry. Bournemouth. That's it. They are playing Brighton next. So I'm pretty happy to have got away with really not owning Zinchenko, who's probably the one I was going to go for. So I'm pretty happy not having him. This is the game week really that the City backline could definitely get some points for sure. But again, I think I'm just going to have to ride it out and wait for that international break. Mendy may be back by then, and at 6 million could 5.9 I think he's dropped down to, could well be an excellent option. If he was fit and I knew he was going to start, I'd probably fancy him over Wan-Bissaka. I think I've got 0.2 in the bank at the moment, so if I'd made a downgrade on King or Kane, then that option could be a reality for sure. So that's talking about transfers. That's a squad for game week 4, as I mentioned. And then, so game week 4 fixtures. United away at Southampton. Looking at United to bounce back big in that game. Hoping for a clean sheet. But you could well get returns for Rashford in that game. Think Martial may well be injured. One to keep an eye on. Chelsea at home to Sheffield United. We've scored impressively, I'd say, in the last game, and we'll be looking to do the same again. Sheffield United haven't been too bad at the back, actually, to be fair. But I still expecting us to. That's the first home game that the pressure's on to really get a result in that game. I think the 3 points we need to be beating Sheffield United at home. So could well be points there for my Chelsea player, Mason Mount, if he starts. Abraham is definitely one to watch. Palace at home to Villa. Both teams coming off wins, so it'll be interesting to see how both come into that game. Very hard to predict, actually. I don't know, actually. Could even be a away win for Villa there. It'd just be typical of Palace to beat United and then lose at home to Villa again. Leicester Bournemouth. I wonder if that's going to be a lot of goals in that game. Could be like a 2-2, something like that. Hoping for points from King, but Vardy. I wouldn't be surprised after so many people got rid of Perez if Perez returns in that match. Could be a lot of attacking returns in that game. Man City home to Brighton. Pretty much covered that. Could be a lot of points for Man City in this one. Man City players. Interesting to see how Brighton's set up, but it's City away, so you can't really judge their players on that match. Newcastle at home to Watford. Again, like all the teams who did well, no doubt Watford will go there and win, but they'll have a lot more confidence in Newcastle, and I think Joel Linton, the forward, had a little knock, but if he starts, it could be good news for Newcastle. Hard one to predict again. West Ham at home to Norwich. Expect Pookie to score. Expect Norwich to score goals in that. But I do expect West Ham to score as well. Got some good attacking assets. Haller did well. Lanzini's been playing well. And that's a kind of game that could be 2 or 3-2 to one of the teams there for sure. And then the light game on Saturday, Burnley at home to Liverpool. It sounds obvious, but it's either going to be a really tight one or Liverpool are gonna absolutely smash it. For FPL asset wise, let's hope they smash it and keep a clean sheet. And then the Sunday games: Everton at home to Wolves. I think it'll be tight, but I think Everton might just win that 1-0 or something. I think Wolves could be fatigued, but I don't see a lot of goals in that game. But I do see a lot of goals in the Arsenal Spurs game. Neither team look that great at the back. Vertonghen, not sure what's going on there. Spurs need to get him back in that starting lineup. They need to get Eriksen in the starting lineup. Whether he's going to go on a transfer or not, but just get him in the team because they need that creativity. Pepe, I thought, looked decent against Liverpool, so it'll be interesting. I think he'll probably start in that home game. Lacazette didn't start in the away game, but I'm wondering if he plays all three in this home game. I mean, surely he's got to go for it. He knows that they're not that great at the back, so I'd be surprised if he doesn't play Aubameyang, Lacazette and Pepe. Could be a whole lot of goals in that match. So that's game week 4 then. And I think that's where I'm going to end the stream. A reminder that the game week 4 deadline, as you can see on screen, this Saturday, 31st of August at 11:30 a.m. Feel free to send in any questions or topics you'd like discussed on the live stream. Just head over to Twitter at CaptainsPickPod, or the email address for the podcast, captainspickpod@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening and watching the podcast and the live stream replay. If you're watching on YouTube, remember, like, share, and subscribe down there if you are watching the YouTube replay, and leave me some questions. I'm always in there looking for comments, and yeah, let me know your feedback and any questions or feedback on my squad. Always looking to get extra advice on how I can potentially improve my team and my squad. So do let me know on YouTube. Okay, so I've been your host. Good luck with game week 4. And until next time, it's been my pleasure to talk with you.